This is the post-match reaction to Tottenham Hotspur 4, Everton 0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm here with Amir. We just had the watch-along. I would describe that, Amir, as a thoroughly professional, comfortable performance. I will caveat by saying it's a very, very poor Everton side, short on confidence, but Tottenham did what they had to do, and there were some battles to be done with set pieces there as well. But I will just very briefly take you through the goal scorers. Yves Bissouma on his return from suspension in the 14th minute. Son Heung-Min with a second, closing down Jordan Pickford, making Pickford make a mistake. Christian Romero with the third from a James Maddison corner, a goal from an attacking corner for Spurs, and finally another goal for Son Heung-Min in the 76th minute from a beautiful run through the middle of the pitch from Mickey van der Ven. Amir, what are your main takeaways to that 4-0 victory?
I think it was probably one of the best all-round team performances I've seen in a very long time from Spurs. And everyone played their part. I think player for player, man for man, everyone did their job really, really well. There were a few key standout performers for me. And of course, Captain Sonny, 2 fantastic goals. Leading from the line, pressing the keeper, making Pickford make that mistake. And for me, the game was done with that second goal. As soon as we got the second, I felt we could push on and get that third and get the fourth. Bissouma coming back from, he's obviously had his issues. Coming back, scoring that goal, absolute rocket. First goal for Tottenham, showing us what he can do. And apart from the goal, his overall play was really, really good. Another huge positive. James Maddison, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Creating havoc. Probably should have got on the score sheet. He'll be annoyed that he didn't score. He had a couple of great chances. And another one who's worth a mention, Kulu, coming into the team after being dropped for Leicester, providing the assist for Bissouma. So I'm just really happy overall with the performance. And we could keep going on and on. Mickey had a great performance. And the players coming off the bench, all showing hunger, all showing their abilities. So yeah, I'm just delighted.
Let's go back all the way back to the 14th minute with that first goal. Kulusevski with some beautiful composure in the Everton box, kind of just running kind of horizontally across the box and just waiting for the right time to lay off a perfectly weighted pass to Bissouma, who just running onto the ball about 19, 20 yards out, just whips it and in off the bar. Beautiful finish. You mentioned Bissouma there. You thought he had a great performance. I completely agree. Obviously, it was his return from suspension after being after kind of, I'd say, very naively posting on his Snapchat, using some nitrous oxide. Obviously, Bentancur will be back from concussion protocols for the next game away at Newcastle. I thought Bentancur started the game against Leicester pretty well. That gives Ange a positive selection headache, doesn't it? Where do you think you'd go for that Newcastle away game? Obviously, remember, our last 2 visits to St James's Park have been chastening.
Yes.
Conceded 4 both times, I think.
It's going to be it's a good headache to have, but it is a difficult one in terms of your decision. Who do you play in there? Me personally, I would take Johnson out of the team. I'd stick Kulu on the right, and I'd bring Bentancur in.
Okay, so a little bit more, I guess, beefing up the midfield a little bit more.
Definitely, with Bruno Guimaraes around, you've got to beef up that midfield and be aware. Newcastle will be a whole different test to what today was.
Is it worth, just because you've mentioned Brennan Johnson there, I feel like, Brennan Johnson is a little bit of a player who gets a lot of abuse from the Tottenham fan base. And I'd say, once again, he didn't have his greatest game. He tried hard, he tried 110%, but just some loose touches here and there. Not very many opportunities to get in behind. Do you think the likelihood is that, where the Spurs fan base quite often like to try and find a negative, they'll find it in Brennan Johnson today? And I just think personally he's lacking a bit of confidence.
It is. It looks like that. It looks like it's a confidence issue with Johnson. He's doing the right things. He's making the right moves, making the right runs. He's trying to play the right balls as well. He could have laid on an assist for Sonny for a goal. So he is making the right movements on the pitch. The problem is he's just not too confident with his abilities. So, the ball will run away from him a little bit. His touch will be a bit sloppy here and there. And I think as soon as he does get a couple of assists and a goal, the monkey will be off his back and you will see him playing a bit more freely and with a bit more confidence. And I just think personally, Johnson, don't listen to all the noise, negativity, abuse, anything like that. Just get your head down, work on your game. You're a young player and things will come good for you.
Totally. The second goal came in the 25th minute. Son Heung-Min just all on his own, pressing Jordan Pickford. Pickford took a heavy touch, and Sonny nipped in ahead of him, nearly scythed down by Pickford in the box, but got back up and slots it into an empty net. I think that'll do wonders, won't it? Sonny getting his first 2 goals of the season today, because he had a little bit of an average for his. For his quality, an average game against Leicester. I think maybe he was a little bit out too wide, whereas today he was a lot more inside. Started in the 9 position, swapped with Kulusevski. It was a bit more fluid.
It was fluid, and it suits Sonny a lot more. Him being closer to the goal, and I think that at the end of the day, when you set your expectations so high, and that is what we expect of Sonny. We expect goals, we expect assists, creating trouble, havoc, leading from the front, and that's just what he did today. Captain fantastic, absolutely brilliant performance, and proved all the doubters and those saying that maybe his time's up at the club. Just shows you how wrong you are.
Totally. 40th minute, there was a really dangerous moment because Mickey van der Ven went down clutching his knee, hyperextended his knee, and we have to say both Amir and I immediately thought that was the end of his match and possibly a big layoff, but he bounced back. We got it into half time and he came back, and in the second half he played excellently. We'll get onto him in a second because I'll talk about him when it comes to the last goal of the game. But the third goal was Christian Romero's brilliant, just showing his desire and his commitment. Corner comes in from the left-hand side. James Maddison in swinger. Christian Romero gets up above both James Tarkowski and Michael Keane, both guys who are like 6'2", 6'3", just showed his desire, got up first, and a bullet header in off the bar. Good performance from Romero. A couple of loose passes early in the game, but with Romero, I always just think he's going to have a few loose passes because he's always trying to play dangerous passes in between the lines.
Exactly. He's taking risks with the ball, so a mistake here or there will happen. Odobert had a fantastic game and misplaced a pass. It does happen in football. We don't worry about that. But in terms of his goal, what I was so happy about, it's not just the fact that he bullied 2 defenders, got in the middle, wanted it more, and gets it in. It's the fact that we scored from a corner. Yeah. Great delivery from Maddison, which we were getting a bit frustrated with a bit of a lack of quality on the delivery. Put it there. Fantastic delivery. Yes, Pickford should have probably come for it, but we've just benefited from that mistake. Romero's buried it, and I want to see a lot more of that this season. If we can up the amount of goals we score from set pieces, it's going to help us get over that line in a lot of games. Yeah, and I don't like to talk about them, but Arsenal had a brilliant season in terms of scoring from set pieces last year. They were very intricate with their set piece routines, and Tottenham just need to be a little bit stronger, I think. And I know we talked a little bit about Solanke and being injured and stuff, but I think he will add more of a presence in the box from attacking set pieces. That's a good part of his game, Solanke.
Totally. Then the final goal, fourth goal, Son Heung-Min, and it all came from our own box. There was a bit of kind of defending needing to be done in our own box, and then it came to Mickey van der Ven's feet, and he saw a gap down the middle, and he just put on the afterburners, ran straight down the middle of the pitch, and then when some composure was needed with his final ball, he just lays it off perfectly to Sonny, lets it come across his body, draws out Jordan Pickford, and with his left foot sticks it through Pickford's legs into the open net. What more can we say about Mickey van der Ven? There's not much he can't do.
Listen, 3-digit player. You asked me for a price earlier. 3 digits, because he's absolutely phenomenal. Defending, going forward, power, pace, and again, like you said, the weight of the ball to Sonny was perfect. You thought, is he gonna? People get in those positions often where there's a chance on, but they'll play the wrong ball, the wrong way. They'll get flustered. Not Mickey. Straight to Sonny, get the assist. Absolutely unbelievable. And just long may he stay fit. No more hyperextensions, Mickey. Please, just look after your knees, your ankles, and everything else. Just stay fit for us all season, please.
Totally. And just before I ask you to give your man of the match today, Amir, I do want to just mention, obviously, Wilson Odobert only signed a week ago. I think it's fair to say, I'll talk for myself, I didn't know a lot about him. I'd seen little clips of him, but he was thrown straight into the Lions' den, starting ahead of players who've been at the club a lot longer. For one, Timo Werner, as a good example, starting on the left-hand side. In the first half especially, I thought he was incredibly exciting. Wasn't afraid to front up his defender. Although he didn't have the beating of their right-back in terms of pace, he kept running him inside and outside, and players from Everton were feeling like they had to double up on Odobert, and that allowed us to have more space inside, and that's something we've really lacked. I think personally it shows that we've got a good talent on our hands for sure, but also that Ange isn't afraid to throw someone in if he sees enough in training to show that they are going to offer us something we haven't had. And that kind of dribbly winger who has acceleration is something that Spurs haven't had for a long time. And it looks like a really good signing.
It does. It's still early doors. We've still got a long season ahead of us. But in terms of what I saw today, I think he's going to be a very, very good signing. And compliments are due not just to Odobert for his performance, but also to Ange for throwing him in there. Really, what a fantastic decision. The one word that comes to mind with the type of player, the way he takes players on, he's a troublemaker. He's going to cause a nuisance for defenders. They don't know if he's going that way, this way, and he's got very quick feet as well. So it's almost perfect for our system. Beating those players, getting the ball in, whipping that ball in, fizzing it into the goal, and you never know, you never into the 6-yard box. You never know what can happen. I think he's going to cause a lot of havoc to a lot of teams this season, and it's just about having a bit of focus and it's just being a bit patient as well. He is young. We got to remember that.
Of course. And who are you going to give your man of the match to today, Amir?
There's only one person it can go to today, and that is Captain Fantastic Heung-Min Song. Absolutely
I'm going to just stick up for the defensive union. I'm going to give it to Mickey van der Ven.
Okay.
I thought he was colossal at the back.
Can understand.
Everton didn't offer much, but all they did today, Everton, I was incredibly disappointed with them, was just go aerial time after time. And Van der Ven showed his ability in the air. A lot of headers he won against Dominic Calvert-Lewin that then dropped second ball into our midfield. But then also the key part was, obviously, it looked like he'd been pretty badly injured, and he wasn't. He came back, and then that run for that the fourth goal, really it made it for me that he gets man of the match. Before we go, I just want to talk about, we've got Newcastle away next. We've had a bad performances at St James's Park, as I've mentioned before.
Very bad.
Last two games.
Very bad.
What I would say, what Newcastle did last time at St James's Park was they really played 11 behind the ball and just hit us on the break. Do you think Eddie Howe will go that way again and try and hit us on the break again? Or do you think because I think they had injuries then. I just wonder. I guess a lot will depend on how they do this weekend. But I just think if the fans roar Newcastle on and come at us, we'll find room on the break, won't we?
There'll be a lot of space there. I think tactically, Howe's better off sitting back.
Yeah, I think he is as well.
To be honest with you,
it really worked for them last year.
It did. But the thing is, will Newcastle want to see that type of football being played up at St James's Park? I'm not too sure. So it'll be very interesting to how Eddie Howe sets up. And this, for me, is another test for Ange. Because can he better Eddie? Eddie Howe's a good manager.
He is, yeah.
Can he get one over on Eddie? And we know St James's Park is one of the toughest places to go in the UK. Some of the best fans in the country up there. And it will be a real test for us. I'm looking forward to see how we do. This was a great performance to go up there on the back of.
Agreed. And one thing I'll just say before we go, Mickey van der Ven actually had I'd say probably his one bad game for Spurs at St James's Park, where Isak turned him quickly. A couple of times he slipped over. So I'm sure van der Ven will be looking to have a bounce back from that in that game.
For sure.
I predict goals in that game at St James's Park. But let's not worry too much about that. Tottenham win today, 4-0. It was a game a lot of people certainly in the podcast and the YouTube channels that I've been watching have been calling a must-win game. And Spurs did win incredibly comfortably.